Hey there everyone! Welcome back to another exciting video for the Shibarium community and its partners. I'm Cezanne Shib, and my mission is to spread knowledge and positivity within the Shibarium ecosystem. This video is the 20th of all X-Space Weekly DAO Update series. This X-Space was held June 5th, 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another KNINE Finance Weekly DAO Update Spaces, number 20, in fact, looking at the title up top. Weekly DAO Update number 20. 20 weeks we've been doing this. This is Roundtable Week this week. You are here early and you are here live listening to us on the Weekly DAO Update Spaces. I am in the KNINE Finance account. I am not the KNINE Finance dev. You guys know it's just me. I'm Pulse Digital. I'm one of the DAO members. I'm just like you guys, except I get to be the voice of the DAO. So you get me up here in the spaces I'm hosting today, and we're going to have a whole bunch of people roll through the speaker spots, community members. You're going to recognize people like Buzz and Turtle and Funk. Then we're going to do our weekly updates. Now, what can you do if you're here this early for me, for us? Well, there's a couple of things. One, you could request a speaker spot if you were looking for that kind of thing. We might have spots available, and there's going to be points where we can do AMA stuff. So that's the coolest place you can be on Spaces is a speaker spot. If you can't do the speaker spot for some reason, you're somewhere you can't partake, the comment section is the next best place. Look at the bottom right. See that number? Number go up, please. Number go higher. I need you guys to go comment down there. I don't care if you just drop a meme down there or tell me what you had for lunch. We need comments in the bottom right. But the most important thing is the faster you get there, the more visible your stuff will be. So you'll get more algorithm points. So let's gamify it. Get down there. Let's get that number going as we go through the spaces. Also, if you have questions, you tag us. Make sure you tag the people that you're trying to get at. And even if we don't answer it during the spaces, I've gotten assurances specifically from Buzz and from Turtle that they are intending to go back and answer every DM diligently, no matter how long it takes. They refuse to let anything go unanswered. So be sure to check in to the comment section. You can also share the spaces. If you wanted to put this on your timeline, that would be great. It's very helpful for us. But specifically, if there's somebody that you know is supposed to be here that you don't see, you could send them a DM, and that would be very helpful. People respond strongly to DMs, so they would join the space more likely if you did that. So you could try that as well. Last, and this one's participatory, so everybody queue up. Last is the emojis. They're totally free. You guys, Buzz covered the tab on all the emojis for the spaces today. He did a wallet drop directly to Elon, and the emojis are free on the house. So feel free to hit the thumbs up and the hearts and the laughs. Let's all share our emotions throughout the spaces. And I noticed while we were going through that, I did get some requests and approve some microphones. I got Buzz and Turtle up here, and I'm going to get Funk. Looks like he had to cycle through once, and we'll get him back up here. But Buzz, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good, Shane. Big Spaces Day today. Thank you again for getting me on that Mario space earlier. It was a great conversation, and looking forward to being on home court here and speaking with the community this week.
Yeah, it's different. It's like the second half of Space Jam where you came out all ready to play now, and it's totally different because now the Monstars are totally scared. I hope you're painting the visual. I don't know if I'm too old for that, but Space Jam came out again. Turtle is with us this week. I'm so excited that Turtle made it back. We missed some Turtle time. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, doing great, man. Happy to be back and be here as always. Shouldn't have too many more disruptions in the foreseeable future, but glad everybody got by without me last week. It sounded like it was a great space. I did listen back to it, but yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, man, just constant where's Turtle memes. They were trying to hound you down. We had a Turtle watch set up and stuff like that. It felt like an ecological type of thing going on in here. Funk, did we get you back up this time? Is your microphone working now?
Yeah, sorry. My son came downstairs and was crying that he wanted to spend time with me. So I heartbreakingly took him back upstairs to his mom, and I'm ready to go.
That is disturbingly relatable. That is a very Spaces host thing to have to say. I appreciate you carving out the time to be here for us today. We've got updates coming from Buzz relative to development for Bone Crusher and all the things as we get closer to Q3. I know everybody's ready to tear into that. We've got updates from Turtle because, like I said, it's Roundtable week. So we've got forum updates, and more importantly than that, things that might be headed to the Roundtable and things that probably are going to make it their way to Snapshot. So he'll be able to give us updates on that. Funk's going to touch on a bunch of different stuff as he's getting busy as we get closer to ETH Toronto and marketing things pick up. We've got all kinds of, I don't even want to say the terms because I don't want to steal his thunder, but he's got like 3 or 4 things lined up that we're going to go through. And then I actually have a little section of stuff that I want to go through, which is rare that I actually carve off microphone time for myself. But right before Buzz's Corner, you're going to have to deal with Shane's soapbox. And that's the privilege that I get of being the Spaces host. But like we always do, I want to hand this over straight to Buzz because, like you said, it's home court. The spaces we were in earlier was not about K9 at all. So we were just shooting the shit about DeFi and perpetual trading and stuff. So here you get to rip it up purely about K9. But we did have a spaces with Mario earlier this week, and we did chop it up for almost an entire hour about Shibarium adjacent topics, and then more specifically K9. So I want to start by giving you the mic, but by recognizing first and foremost how damn well you guys did over there. Everybody from the K9 team that came over to be there did a great job of representing themselves over there. And it's not me just saying that because I'm here. I go to a lot of those spaces, man. I get to hear a lot of projects. So congratulations to you guys on another great appearance, Buzz.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, we had so many people out from the K9 community to that spaces yesterday. I thought it was really fun. And I mean, we've been lucky enough to have Mario as an advisor and be part of what seems like 5 or 6 of these now, and gotten to hear other projects have spotlights on there. And I always just think that K9 rolls off the tongue so well when our community's talking about it, and we're talking about the utility that it's bringing to Shib and Shibarium, and the narrative just, I think, speaks much stronger to an audience compared to other projects where you kind of tune into the space, you're listening, but at the end of it, you're kind of confused, like, wait, what does this project do and what is the purpose of it? And I think our storyline and our narrative is very, very clear. And the more and more that we hit that narrative home as a community and start to educate people, the better off we're going to be.
In particular, and I'll ask Funk the same thing, what I walked away with myself, now we have the advantage, of course, that since I'm up there with David co-hosting like that, and David's here, shout out David for stopping by, I can kind of swerve that conversation, and I did want it to be about Shibarium, but I do feel like we had a great, what I would call discovery event for Shibarium as a whole, and it's weird that K9 has landed in this place that's what we're doing, but that's what we did, and Funk was there too. Funk, did you feel like we had a pretty good experience there?
Yeah, I absolutely had a great experience there. It's great to reach and not kind of preach to the choir, to reach people who haven't heard of Shibarium, who haven't heard of K9, and those are the people you want to reach to educate them, to get that first touch of contact, to spark their interest. So the more and more they hear about it, finally they do decide to jump in.
And you even pointed that out in the spaces. You actually said how refreshing it was to hear from a couple of people that didn't know, because you do get caught in your echo chamber. You get caught up hearing from people that deeply understand some of the things that you've no longer had to explain because you're surrounded by people. So when you walk into a space and you know that a panel of people has been assembled, because Mario's team doesn't fuck around, these are people that are in the space. They're not amateurs, and they look you straight in the face and go, I had no idea Shibarium was a thing. That is a breathtaking experience when you're someone like Buzz or Turtle or Funk that's building a DApp that's meant to run on Shibarium, that you suddenly get a reminder that Shibarium as a whole still hasn't experienced the discovery at all. So the idea that people know about K9, it's like, no, you know about it. You've been here for 6 months, or you've been a part of it, but you forget until you go into a public place like that and you're like, hey, excuse me, sir, have you heard about K9 on Shibarium? They're like, I have no idea what the words you just said were at all. So I thought it was really cool, and you both handled it really, really well in terms of getting that message out, because you've both had to be, Funk is doing this, we're all doing this, but you guys are doing this publicly, being what Buzz's title is. It's like an advocate for Shibarium, development advocate, but you're having to go out in public and just straight up explain, well, we're K9 and we build on Shibarium. Well, what is Shibarium? And you're like, oh, well, I guess I got to do that. So Buzz, how do you feel about getting better at giving the overall, this is Shibarium and this is who we are version of that pitch?
I think it's going great. I mean, I think that our announcement next week, I hate teasing too much stuff in this, is going to speak towards a lot of the inroads that we've been able to make within different communities to get people to support Shibarium. So I guess that's a little bit of a hint, but we're always kind of playing on the ways that we pitch Shibarium and how Shib and K9 fit into that fold. And I love how, I'm not sure if Danger is here, but Danger is always really helpful in sending me DMs about how he thought different ways of pitching Shibarium and K9 went during these spaces. So yesterday, for those who were able to listen, one thing that we've noticed over the course of the past 3-4 months now when talking about Shibarium is that there's a lot of people out there who had their eyes on Shibarium when it first launched at ETH Toronto this past summer. And obviously the launch didn't go perfectly as planned. And I think some people, after seeing the launch not go perfectly as planned, dismissed Shibarium a little bit. And I think some of those people may not have come back to try out the chain or kind of see the progression that's been made since then. And it's been almost a year now, and things are going incredible. And one story that I shared was a coin that launched prior to 2017 that reached a $3 billion market cap at its height. But during their launch, it was much worse than Shibarium. It's actually, to this day, you're not able to verify the total supply of the token because there's a privacy effect in their coin. And to this day, no one actually knows how many tokens exist or what the exploit was on their launch. And yet with that poor of a launch back in 2017, this coin was able to make it to over a $3 billion market cap at its height. So it was a story and a lesson to people who may be dismissing different technologies that don't launch perfectly at first, that there's certainly a redemption arc for these technologies, and that the Shibarium and the Shib story is much more than just a launch that didn't go perfectly as planned. And we're still very bullish on bringing people to Shibarium and being those DeFi rails, and bullish on BONE, and lots of people building on Shibarium, and that's what we're here to do.
And I'm not suggesting that this is what would be happening here at all, but there are plenty of brands that didn't really find success until the second or the third relaunch or rebrand. And I'm not talking about Web3. Please don't think I'm talking about that. I've been through too many V2s, V7s, V69s to deal with that. But what I do know is in the real world, people will rebrand, or businesses have to rename, or you have to get a new logo, and you have a grand reopening and stuff like that. So the project you're talking about, which I know because you talked about it on the space, it's a fascinating story about persistence. And discoverability doesn't always happen when you expect. Like when you think people are going to find out about your business, whatever your business is, it's not always like you throw open the doors, to use the quote, if you build it, they will come. It's not always like that. It's not like, oh, I've got a blockchain, so now everybody's going to be here. It doesn't work like that. You can't just throw open the doors. So how do you launch? How do you relaunch? How do you relaunch? These brands have all had to figure that out. And it is an interesting story. And until you brought it up, I didn't know any of that yesterday. So I did appreciate that you shared it there. I think a couple of people probably found that interesting. The other thing that we talked about while we were on that space is, I think this is great because the Shib account was there yesterday and they're here today too, and it's been talked about on X, and I know that you'll want to touch on it, Buzz, was that video about the overall volume of Solana coins trading versus the volume of Shibarium. And that came across Shib's account, and I think that's worth highlighting too. Did you see that today?
Oh, I thought that was an incredible post. I loved it. And for those who didn't see, I believe it was the All In podcast. I know Turtle's a listener of this podcast. I am as well. I didn't specifically listen to that episode, but it's a great quote about how Shib is actually larger than the entire market size of all meme coins on Solana. And when we talked a lot about in the space yesterday why KNINE decided to be building on Shibarium, and it was all about that market sizing problem and figuring out what is the size of this market and how much can we capture, and seeing that it was a very, very bullish opportunity to be a first mover in this ecosystem to bring DeFi there. And that was just very validating to hear that some of the sharpest minds, not only in crypto, but in the financial world in general, are thinking about this market sizing problem very similarly to us at KNINE, and seeing that there's a huge market here for Shib. And even though there's so much meme coin activity going on Base and Solana with tens of thousands of coins launching, it's true what the real alpha is, or what the real king coin is. Shib is the king meme coin. It has the most holders. It has the highest market cap. There's a blockchain backing it, and it's not hard to envision how with all of those whirlwinds coming together that Shibarium has its moment and takes off to a place that's much more violent than these Solanas and Base chains of the world.
I sat down and had a hard think about it, and I even wrote a post that I shared when I thought about it. But what I was left with is the phrase, I imagine not trying on Shibarium. Imagine not trying. Imagine being a dev right now that's going to go build on some obscure chain. I can think of like 5 obscure chains off the top of my head right now that I'm not going to talk bad about just because we're here and I'm not trying to, but they could never ever come close to the volume that they would possibly get even if they just tried on Shibarium. And it's so many different reasons that they don't know. They don't know how easy it is. They don't know it's a simple Polygon fork. Like there's a messaging problem. This is part of my soapbox thing that I was going to do because we kind of ran into this in the spaces, and this is it's not something I'm not comfortable talking about. Remember, I'm the KNINE Finance account, but I'm just Pulse Digital. KNINE Finance is not responsible for any of the wacky stuff that comes out of my mouth. But there's this weird messaging issue. Like, how are people not trying on Shibarium? Imagine if you were going to take liquidity and launch the same shitcoin on 3 chains. You're telling me you're not going to throw that on Shibarium just to see how it goes? And I'm not saying we need more shitcoins on Shibarium. We don't need bad projects, but imagine being a developer and just fading Shibarium. I don't get it, especially after the spaces, especially after that post comes out from a very reputable podcast, by the way. Those guys are big on the circuit. They couldn't have come from anywhere bigger unless it was coming from somewhere like Mario and Ran doing it on the morning show or something like that. Or, if Elon posted it. How much bigger does it need to get before people are going to realize, like, oh my damn, there's a chain over here supported by one of the largest meme coin communities on the planet, globally, by the way, not just on the planet. I don't just mean in one place, globally across India, the United States, America, Europe, all of it. And you're telling me that you're not even going to put $5,000 worth of liquidity with your pair just to see how it goes? I don't get it, man. It blows my mind. Before I get off my soapbox buzz, that's what I left spaces with as the host who knew the project. I left with like a sense of like, well, shit, none of these panelists really knew. Like it renewed my sense that I hate saying we're so early because that sounds like wag me hype stuff, and I'm not that guy. But I left there like, oh man, nobody knows about Shibarium yet. Did you feel that too? Am I the only one?
Oh, 100%. But it is we're so early narrative. But I think when you're early to projects, it comes quick. The catalyst effect that we've seen on Solana, BNB, these other chains that have taken off, it comes in a blink of an eye. We don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, if it's going to be next month, or when that's going to be. But all we do know from a DAO perspective with KNINE is that we're going to have a live product that's going to be integral to DeFi happening on Shibarium, and we're going to be positioned very, very well as a community when Shibarium does take off, that we're right there. And we're on the Shib website. We're integrated into the official products. We're working with all the other great builders on the chain, and it's going to be impossible to miss KNINE when Shibarium has its moment.
Very true. I saw that Adam came up. Adam was able to make it on the speaker panel in the Mario show. Adam, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm on PC today, so hopefully my mic's working okay, but doing fantastic. Happy to be here again.
Yeah, man, it sounds loud and clear. It's actually mega crisp. I don't know what you're doing special, but it sounds really good.
different mic setup. No, I appreciate it. But I just caught the tail end there. Just a quick mention from my side. I've seen a lot of different developers like in the drawing room of deciding, where do I build, my project, both on the DeFi side as well as, the meme coin side and even NFTs as well. And really comes down to opportunity. Right? Is there a chance for their project to get the spotlight in a way that they couldn't on another chain? And if we're thinking about building on, Shibarium and really the inroads that KNINE Finance is having here, it's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, come on, right? If you're comfortable with Polygon, if you're comfortable with EVM, you can build here, and being able to make the partnerships and inroads that you can right now, this early on, why would you not, take that upon yourself as a project owner? So just to add my 2 cents there, but I'll pass back.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you coming up to the spaces too and being on the panel with us. That was very, very cool to have you there. Funk also was there yesterday, but he was wearing this outfit. So we changed clothes. When he gets to go out in public, I only wear this on Thursdays. So Funk was the KNINE speaker. If you guys were listening yesterday, Funk, I thought you had a really good appearance there yesterday. Did you walk away from that feeling the same thing about the discoverability thing that I did?
Yeah, I really did. I feel that, when we were there and we were speaking to those new people about it, it opens the door, right? And again, the way I described it the other day was like crypto is like the eye of Sauron, and I really like that analogy. I'm using it forever. Is the giant eye of the market is constantly turning from thing to thing. It turns over to Solana. and everyone's focused on Solana. And then it turns over to Base and everyone's focused on Base. And when is it going to be Shibarium's turn? When is it going to be the case that the market looks at Shibarium and the discoverability will happen on its own there? But in the meantime, what are the conditions that lead up to that discoverability? And that's exactly what we're doing here. It's exactly what we did in the space yesterday. It's getting every single person to know, yes, Shibarium is live. Yes, Shibarium gas fees are exceptionally low. It's exceptionally fast. There is a huge meme market and there's a huge meme power behind Shiba Inu, and the opportunities are limitless. And one of the big catalysts I really think, man, is KNINE going live, launching Bone Crusher, getting potentially millions and millions of Bone delegated to that validator, getting those receipt tokens, getting that volume transacted, getting people staking for Shiba Swap LP, earning escrow KNINE, earning more Bone, compounding their interest on all these different elements. I think that's going to be a huge catalyst. And KNINE bridging to Shibarium, it's in the near future. Man, I think KNINE's going to be the biggest token on there. If you just looked at current market cap, it will be, in fact, the biggest if it happened today. So I think that's going to be a big catalyst, man. We're going to be pushing that.
So I got a little list of questions here because we made it a little more than about 20 minutes, and I could do an entire spaces about Shibarium and Shibarium discovery and stuff like that. But I do have stuff that I want to touch on from each of you individually, little updates for the community and stuff. And I do appreciate the Shib account coming up and co-hosting. You look great up there next to me. The two profile pictures, circles and squares, Shibs and K9s. Looks good, man. Good to have you up here. Appreciate you. I'm going to start with Buzz, and then I'll go around because I got one for Turtle and a couple for Funk. LBank is a thing, Buzz. How are things going at LBank right now?
Yeah, it's going great. Love getting onto new markets, accessing new geographies. LBank, like we've been kind of telling the community since the start, it's one step closer to what our ultimate goals are as a DAO, and it's being on the top markets, to have KNINE accessible everywhere that it's compliantly allowed to be around the globe, and it's one more step towards what we're looking to accomplish as a DAO. And there's going to be another announcement next week that I'm really excited for. Yeah, CoinW and LBank, and in such a short period of time just shows that the hard work that not only every single member of the community, but Mr. Lightspeed is doing as well. And not only did we get live on CoinW and LBank last week, but also our circulating supply got verified on CoinGecko, verified on CoinMarketCap and DEX tools as well. So we're picking away and getting all of the ducks in a row, so to speak, to be a really, really serious contender to have conversations with these exchanges that everyone recognizes around the entire globe.
One of Lightspeed's specialties that I often talk with him about is what we call the unsexy side of cryptocurrency. And that's things like the circulating supply verifications and stuff. But they do make a huge impact. Getting those check marks or getting those things verified in the right places often leads to discoverability, because maybe another app wasn't picking you up, or another tracker wasn't looking at your product because it didn't have that last crucial piece of data that they were looking for. So those are both huge things to get those things verified and stuff like that, because it helps. It'll help in ways that you can't even see down the road. The other thing with LBank and CoinW that I always point out is, remember, one exchange begat the next, which begat the next. They look at the volume of the exchanges that are already there. And in order to make a decision about whether or not they're going to list a product, they want to know what your relationship is with this. And Lightspeed says this in Spaces. If you don't think that the business development teams from every exchange talk to each other about which products have been the easiest to work with, that have had the best business development teams, that have managed their markets the best, then you're not understanding the backside of how crypto works on centralized exchanges, because they talk to each other, and you have to build those intra-exchange relationships and the building blocks that are being put in place to choose where to go and why to go. You might as well be casting chicken bones for me, because I don't read the tea leaves the way that Lightspeed does. And I know that Buzz and these guys talk about it and stuff, and I try to stay out of it. But there's a way and a means to all this stuff. So I think it's really fascinating. And when you say next week you got another announcement coming, I don't think it's that we're going to have a taco truck. That's the one thing I'm going to cross off my list. There's no K9 taco truck coming next week, but somebody write that down in the book of ideas for me. I want to ask next, I'm going to go to Funk because I'm dying to hear more about the hoodies. And I know Funk has been working real hard this week to get the merch news out. Funk, we have hoodies. Is that a true story?
Yeah, man, these are first edition KNINE hoodies. I'm really excited about them. They look fantastic. I can't wait to receive mine. We did give away about 20 to 30 to the whales, to a couple moderators, as well as some people on the management council as well. So we got those out, and then there were 44 that were available for purchase. They're already kind of flying off the shelves. So if you guys want a first edition, remember, these are limited print. The next iteration of our merchandise is not going to have this first edition on it. It's not going to be as prestigious. And the initiative behind it is really great. It does come out of pocket in a sense for us, in that we're not selling the hoodies. We're actually asking the community to burn $100 of KNINE. And for a lot of people, that's not a lot of KNINE in the crypto space when we're talking about the amount of money that comes to and fro in crypto, to basically reach out to Sentinel and DM him and get $100 worth of KNINE burned for the hoodie to be shipped wherever you are around the world. You're also responsible for shipping, but that's not usually all that expensive. It's, $20 in certain cases. So yeah, we're really excited about that hoodie. Again, there's less than 40 left. They're kind of flying off the shelves here. It's only been 24 hours. I expect they'll all be sold out by 6 or 7 days from now. So if anyone here is interested in a first edition limited hoodie, it's got an awesome graphic of both German Shepherd and Shiba Inu on the back, high def, high resolution. It's got a nice KNINE Finance DAO on the arm sleeve and the logo on the front chest with the first edition on it. Highly recommend people who are interested in that do it and get that sweatshirt, man. I'm super excited for that hoodie myself.
And you forgot the biggest grand prize that goes along with the hoodies.
Oh, I did forget the biggest grand prize. And this is just complete props to Sentinel and Shiba Cows over there. Those guys are awesome. They surprised us. We didn't ask for this. They said, we're going to give $1,000 in airfare as well as accommodations and I'm not sure exactly how many days those accommodations are for, but for a trip to Japan. So if you want it, there's only 75 hoodies total, and it's a pretty good shot that you could win a free vacation to Japan just by getting a hoodie. And hey, you're burning KNINE in the process. You're helping the ecosystem. It's bullish. So yeah, man, I would love to leave my wife and kids at home and go to Japan for an extended period of time and come back whenever. And so I'm sure that a lot of you back at home would too. Or hey, you bring your whole family with you, make a whole vacation of it, no big deal. But yeah, $1,000 of airfare vouchers functionally to discount it. So if you were to bring your whole family and you had multiple tickets, it would work in that capacity. So really excited for whoever wins that. So they are a certain type of chip that's in the hoodie. Buzz knows more about the technicals about that, but we will do a live drawing. We'll kind of activate one of those, and then whoever has the right chip, I forget what the acronym is, will win that vacation.
It's the acronym is, it's an NFC chip. So it authenticates these first edition hoodies so that it's almost like an NFT, like your hoodie is first edition and it's real, so to speak. But the grand prize is $1,000 voucher for airfare to Japan, and I believe it's 7 days accommodations. And it's not just accommodations. I think it also includes some trips, because it's Sentinel was able to get a partnership with a travel company who offers these, and was able to give one of these packages as part of this campaign. So 7 days accommodations and some trips, like day trips and things like that in Japan that'll go to one of the 75 hoodie holders. So it's a pretty decent chance of winning. Like your chance of winning is like 2% or whatever that, or 1.75%, whatever that works out to be.
Yeah, and at worst you get a hoodie, right? So that's amazing that we went that. I do just want to mention, how do we get these hoodies? The methods are pinned up in the Telegram chat. So if you're in the KNINE chat right now, I'm going to repin it. So it's the most recent pin. And it'll give you explicit instructions on how to burn the KNINE functionally and how to get the hoodies. It's important to follow these instructions. Don't answer random DMs from people. Don't just start burning tokens or sending them to and fro. Make sure to follow these official instructions on the Telegram, t.me/K9finance.
Just to do a solid for Shiba Cows, they're a partner for KNINE. They're also a partner for a lot of the projects on Shibarium and Shib in general. If you guys are not familiar with Shiba Cows, they are leading the charge for Shib and Shiba Inu in what's called the phygital realm, physical digital items. They specialize in NFC chips. That's what Buzz and Funk are talking about. Similar to how you use tap to pay on your debit card right now, the system by which you have a small chip that you just by passing near a device get a reading is what Shiba Cows has been doing with their physical digital items for years now. And these hoodies are coming out with one of these chips. And at a certain point, they will be activated. There's going to be some sort of a claim activated, and you're going to be able to use your device, your phone, your tablet, whatever's got an NFC scanner, and you're going to be able to scan a specific location on your hoodies. And it's going to be able to register with this check-in and tell you whether or not you've won. And the cool thing about this is, and this is where I get super bullish on fidgetals. I love fidgetal stuff. That's why Shiba Cows is so cool to me. You could potentially down the road use one of these to get into a KNINE after party. You're one of the original OGs. You've got one of the only NFC tags in that. So as everybody's going through the door and they're having to pull out their wallets and pay their hard-earned cash and their Ethereum, you just hold up your sleeve, baby, and we scan you in at the door and we go, oh shit, you're an OG whale. You've got one of the original hoodies, man. Come on in. You've got that Shiba Cows tag in there. NFC tags and phygital items are so cool. So physical digital items like what Shiba Cows are doing are so cool. And the idea that we're getting these for you guys early, that we're getting the opportunity to get these out, and that we're actually using the NFC tag to do a giveaway means that we're actually acting as kind of a test bed for one of the early parts of what crypto is supposed to be, which is like crossing back into Web 2. How can we go from Web 2 to Web 3 back to Web 2? So I love what Shiba Cows is doing, and this has been brought to you in part by Shiba Cows because they're helping us out, and they spent $1,000 to fly one of us all the way to Japan. So I think they deserve a shout out, and I'm really proud of the work that they've done over there. Do you guys know if they're going to be at ETH Toronto, or are they going to have a presence up there with us?
Yeah, they are for sure. So I thought so. Not only will they have a presence, but I see Shib Dream is here as well, and there's going to be a yacht party that's hosted not only by KNINE but LTD as well. I think Bad Idea is going to be part of that as well, but all of our KNINE whales will be able to go. I'm sure that we'll be able to work something out with the group that's putting on the yacht party to get hoodie holders access to that or something to that degree as well. And it's gonna be fun. I know that Sentinel has mentioned to us that not only are they going to have merch at ETH Toronto, but they're also going to have toys. So not only do they do merch, but they do toys too. Work with a lot of different NFT projects. So they'll have a booth, KNINE will have a booth, and it's going to be fun.
That'll be a good time. Last time they did action figurines for Bad Idea. So I can only imagine what kind of stuff they could work up for KNINE too, coming up with small scale walk away toys and stuff like that. That'll be really cool. We will get more updates on ETH Toronto. I don't see Meyer here, but remember guys, we're getting closer to ETH Toronto. That is going to be happening in the second week of August, and KNINE is going to have a huge presence up there, like Bud said, along with Shib and Bad Idea. A bunch of other projects in the ecosystem are all going to be up there. So don't miss out on that. Now I'm going to swerve to Turtle because we've had a little bit of time between the last time we had an update on forum proposals and roundtable stuff like that. So I don't know how big your notebook is, but I'm just going to hand it right over to you and see where you want to pick up, sir. It's all yours.
Yeah, great. Thanks. So yeah, it has been busy in the forums over the last few weeks, consistently seeing new users sign up and kind of new folks that have been signed up starting to get more active. That's always great to see. Have had a few really interesting proposals come in that are brand new. So I'll actually talk about those in a second. But just wanted to mention the roundtable call, which is where proposals go to be reviewed once just to make sure they kind of meet minimum criteria, was going to be this Friday, which is the tweet that went out. That's actually going to be happening on Monday. Just for anyone listening, if you're looking for updates or wondering the results. As you know, we usually post them right after. That'll come Monday of next week. Just had a few conflicts. So you can look forward to the next roundtable Monday afternoon and probably results by Tuesday. Some of the proposals that are going to be reviewed, let's start with kind of stuff that's been in the pipeline already. So there was an ape bond liquidity proposal that came in and was reviewed and determined that there wasn't quite enough information. Just really the roundtable's job is to ensure that whatever goes to vote is, most likely a net positive for the DAO. And so in order to ensure that, there's been a few additional due diligence questions and case studies that have been requested. And I've been going back and forth with the ape bond team. It isn't clear whether or not they'll have the next round of criteria back to us before this call, but if they do before Monday, that will be reviewed again. Otherwise, that'll happen in the following meeting. And I think that it's worth the patience there. Everybody wants to make sure we're doing the right thing, and that's what the DAO is for. The other proposal that's a little bit historical at this point is the ARB bot. There has been a complete sentiment shift in the last week or two on the ARB bot. I think people are seeing that as more exchanges list KNINE, the impact of arbitrage is less for at least one individual actor, just because there's more things moving in the system. So you can't be a one-man army like they were doing. And also people, I think, are realizing that an ARB bot is something you can't really prevent. It's kind of an open ecosystem. But regardless of all of that, we do expect that proposal to go to roundtable review on Monday. One interesting note is the ARB bot has been buying over the last week or two and not just selling. So it just shows you being patient and not knee-jerk reacting, and having a DAO is working well, right? You could end up doing something you regret, or if you blacklist something, people might think you're going to blacklist things in the future. Exchanges are not a big fan of blacklist functions, and if you ever use it, you're going to need to explain it. So a lot to consider there, but I do expect us to have updates on that one after Monday. There was another new proposal, so again, kind of getting into some newer ones, around including a fixed burn fee every time a KNINE transaction happens. That one doesn't have enough criteria to meet roundtable review, but I do think it could by next call. So I encourage anyone who has interest in that topic to kind of jump into that proposal, ask the person who wrote it clarifying questions, come up with your own ideas, and I'll help do the same. There could be something there, but when you put a proposal forth, you kind of need to follow the guidelines if you want it to get to the roundtable quickly, and that didn't happen in that case. There's another one kind of like that, but it's really well built out. Cezanne Shib has been doing some YouTube content creation for KNINE, and really his proposal is well thought out, has everything in there, what the community can do to support him. The only thing it didn't have was a specific ask to the DAO, like a budget or anything like that. And so I just wanted people to know that if you put forth something like, hey, I want to create a ton of great content on YouTube for KNINE, and here's how I'm going to do it. There are stipends available for content creators. So keep in mind, following that format and kind of encouraging and showing us what you can do. There's an opportunity for everybody. And in that same spirit, Matthew, who is like a guru of Facebook marketing on Shib and crypto, put together a very well thought out proposal on actually starting a official KNINE finance group and offered to run that. And we'll be reviewing that, I believe, on the call Monday. And I think that's one that we'll most likely see go to snapshot vote. It was really well put together. But yeah, in essence, the DAO is working well. That's the proposals that are hot items at the moment. And if there's any questions I can answer on them, I'd be happy to.
The first question I'd have that comes to mind, just because you're the guy that gets to review all this on the most technical level, and we've talked about this in so many spaces about how to bring these proposals to the table on the forums. How much do you feel like the way that Matthew's proposal was written has an impact on the speed and the sentiment with which it was received when compared to something like that burn fee proposal? And I'm not saying that they have to fist fight or anything, but just from a purely linguistics perspective, not comparing the weight or the value of the two proposals, how much do you feel like just the presentation really does make a difference in how people receive it?
Oh, I mean, it's night and day, right? I mean, and I think also to mention is sometimes people are just trying to kick ideas around, so they may not be totally ready for it to be a full proposal. And I certainly don't want to discourage that. So, feel free to start up a thread, and even if you don't follow the whole guideline like Matthew did, it's still going to lead in the right direction. But if you have all your ducks in a row and you have a real vision for how it should go, just try to follow some of the other proposals that have already gone through, or look at the guidelines. It's a night and day difference. You have to keep in mind these roundtable calls are an hour long, and it needs to be put in a format that really covers everything quickly. So that's kind of what the guidelines are for.
Yeah, I agree, because when I looked at them, that's one of the most striking things. And I'm more pedantic than most, but so much of that formatting makes a difference just in terms of how easy it is to take in, points of interest, things to remember, bullet points. So it's good. And I know the Facebook one you're talking about was presented very well. I think everyone, if you haven't seen that, forum.k9finance.com, right? We always try to close and let everybody know where to go. And by now, by the way, it's week 20. And if you don't already know that yet, you better just join the community. But at this point, we're driving everybody to the forum. Remember, every time you sign up and you do a new interaction, you're going to get a cool badge. DeFi Turtle set up a really cool system over there, you guys. They spared no expense setting up a very cool forum. Please go try it out. Please go try it out. That's my honest ask, right, Turtle? It's a pretty neat place.
Yeah, and I mean, we are, I'll just use the word retroactive airdrop, and then I'll drop the mic. So that was
Zoom. That's a big deal. And honestly, the funny thing is being active on the forum, if you guys really settle in, I don't know how many of you are OGs, Buzz and I have talked about the time we spent on forums. You'd be surprised how settling in and just being active on a forum can actually be kind of fun and easy. And then if you turn around one day and found out that you were getting some sort of a participation award or points or retroactive airdrop, you know what it reminds me of, Buzz? I don't know if you spent a lot of time on there, but there was a point where the upvotes on our cryptocurrency didn't used to mean anything. And then all of a sudden they did mean something for a lot of people for a little period of time because moons became a thing, So forum participation can have its benefits, is what Turtle is saying. And I'll back that up because Reddit definitely proved that in a multi-million-dollar way. They did it big. I'm looking at the clock and I'm being cognizant of time, and I want to make sure that I give Buzz a corner this week. Buzz, do you have a corner prepared this week?
Yeah, I do. I'm sure that a lot of people saw this tweet that Vitalik put out, and the genesis of this tweet was, I know it was around a specific meme coin that I don't want to name, but I think the genesis was really around the attention span of meme coins in general. There's tens of thousands launching every single day, and I think for projects that are really building, it can be hard to navigate through that sea of so many things launching every single day, and the vast majority, 99% of them, go directly to zero. And I really thought highly of Vitalik's post around celebrity projects that are launching, and he kind of wrote out 3 different criteria that a project needs to have for at least him to respect it, and I think his voice carries a lot of weight for how the market should be respecting projects as well. And his points were to have some sort of public good goal that's tied in with the token, to have it do something beyond just trading the token, and to be building something that lasts more than a few days in the case of a lot of these meme coins, and to have something that lasts 10 plus years. And we found that was a really great opportunity to look at KNINE, which is not a celebrity meme coin. We don't even really categorize it as a meme coin in general, but KNINE is very meme coin adjacent because we're trying to bring that DeFi economy to the meme economy. And when we look at having a public good, which was his first point of criteria, the mission of our DAO, to remind people, is to bring DeFi to Shibarium. And we're doing that through a community-governed liquid staking product, it's launching next quarter. And this is really going to be in the hands of the community and as a public good to hopefully spur more DeFi transaction happening with Shiba Inu and on Shibarium. And having mechanics beyond just trading. So KNINE, of course, is a DAO. And just as Vitalik said, the token holder layer of governance, and I think that this gave Turtle a lot to chew on and made him quite happy. Vitalik was saying that the token holders don't need to decide the entire agenda of a project, but it's important that they have influence in the direction. And that was very validating, I think, to Turtle and the rest of the squad working on KNINE and the DAO, because that's exactly what the purpose of the Roundtable of Dogs was made for. And the Roundtable of Dogs, for those who don't know, is a group of elected people who are token holders, members of the community, who are maybe VCs in the space and have a lot of knowledge of the community. And they look at all the proposals in the DAO and they decide which ones go to a token holder vote. And sometimes they adjust them a little bit so that the token holders are ultimately deciding on the direction, but it's the things that we're voting on as a DAO are being curated in a way where a vote is not going to negatively hurt the project, and either way a vote goes would be a positive outcome for the DAO. And then making something that lasts was Vitalik's last point, and we thought this was beautiful because what we're building with KNINE as a DAO is something that's very scalable. And once we launch this next quarter, it's something that as we maintain it, it'll be live forever. It'll be serving the Shibarium blockchain forever. And one thing that we highlighted yesterday in the space with Mario is that the public utility of this all is that KNINE as a DAO, we're not going out to the Shib community and saying, hey, you have to own KNINE. The KNINE token does two things. It's membership to the DAO, and there's a stake to earn model, so that the fees and revenue being generated by the validator are flowing to our KNINE token holders. But if you're part of the Shib community, you own BONE, you're on Shibarium, there's a way to use KNINE that not only benefits the entire blockchain, but you may see the benefit of owning KNINE in that process. So it's not something that we're driving down the community's throat of like, hey, you have to own this, but it's very much a public good that we want to last for a long period of time and support the use of Shibarium and to use KNINE and benefit the ecosystem. You don't have to own the KNINE token. You can use it and be beneficial to the whole ecosystem by just owning BONE.
That actually stood out to me. I'm glad you reiterated that, because when we brought that up yesterday, I kind of think that went under the radar. Most projects show up and they're going to intrinsically make the use of their native token kind of a requirement, or they're going to token gate it, or they're going to say the wallet that's interacting also has to hold a fixed amount or something. They'd find a way to do it. But when you point it out like that and you're like, listen, man, we made this thing. It's for BONE holders to use. It will send you over to Shibarium. You literally don't have to touch any of our stuff. Like that's pretty cool when you think about it. You're just like, this is here to use or don't. And if along the way you want to stake some of our token and our validator, it's the coolest, hippest validator on Shibarium. I don't know if you guys know this, but it's the 13th validator. I don't know why I'm hung up on that being the coolest thing, but I feel like the 13th validator in and of itself is like memeable. But it's by far the coolest validator for all of Shibarium. So you're already going to stake your KNINE there. You might as well use the DApp for BONE as well. So I wonder how many people caught on to that. And we're going to have to reiterate that, Buzz. You're right.
Yeah, we had a great conversation last night when Funk did trivia night in our Telegram, and some good discussion came out of that, some of the trivia questions. And I think the community, as we're diving deeper into the light paper, we're starting to all understand that there was a ton of thoughtfulness put behind the mechanics of how the product will work and how KNINE is tied into that. And when a BONE holder may be wanting to use KNINE and just growing their bag and helping to secure the chain, that there are mechanics in there where hopefully they're recognizing by using the KNINE product that it would be beneficial to them to own KNINE too. But it's not a exclusive relationship where you have to own KNINE in order to participate in the product, but it's very much entangled that it would be of benefit to you to own KNINE if you're a BONE holder and you want to secure the chain and earn yield on your BONE and support the Shibarium chain.
And also help make decisions about the products that you're using, because you'd be able to vote on those changes if they were coming down the pipe anyway. So something to consider if you're a BONE whale. Just throwing that out there. I know I'm KNINE Finance on X Spaces or whatever, so I don't want to shield too hard for KNINE, but if you're a BONE whale, maybe check out KNINE Finance. With an eye on the clock as we come up, I got about 4 or 5 more minutes left. I don't see too many hands from the community as far as requests for other people to come up who don't literally lack a profile picture and are most likely trying to troll the Shib account. So as a rule, I generally don't approve people that have 5 followers and no account picture. Anybody else wants to come up and hang out, now would be the time. I see some of you guys down there that are perennial guests. Anybody want to come up and hang out? Obviously, we're not here to talk to Shib. Shib's not going to talk back to you. They're just up here to look good and hang out with us today. But Buzz and and Turtle and Funk and even Adam. If you want to ask Adam a question, somebody come up and ask Adam a damn question. He's sitting up here all day just looking good on the panel. Funk, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I do want to drive a little bit of attention to our friend Adam. Adam is an excellent speaker, and he's kind of come on board, and he's going to be doing a lot of grassroots work, going around and representing us. Anyone who's heard him speak knows that the dude can represent a project really, really well. So occasionally we'll have him jump on VCs, especially get us new opportunities for VCs, new opportunities for new audiences that we might not otherwise be reaching within our Shiba ecosystem, and kind of spreading the good word about KNINE. So really excited to have him as a KOL supporting us. His network is really, really vast within Telegram and grassroots and just real IRL connections. He goes to tons of events, real life events, conventions, things like that. So his X account isn't like 100,000 followers. His main presence is actually in those real world connections, which can become invaluable. But yeah, I'll let Adam just mention a little bit about himself if you want.
Hey, thanks, man. Well, aside from blushing a little bit, luckily this isn't the video space. Really appreciate the mentions there. Yeah, I'm just, really just a fly on the wall right now, gathering as much intel as I can, and really just trying to connect everyone I have in my circle to everything being built in K9 Finance, as well as what's being done on Shibarium. So there's definitely some great inroads to be had. I already have 2 spaces selected that'll be on a monthly rotation that I'm looking to bring K9 Finance to. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But I just wanted to make one comment on something that was mentioned earlier around the focus on the DAO. I just realized that this is one of the few very, very functional DAOs that people are active in, right? I think that alone is something to really bring attention to. So I'm definitely going to be diving into the forum myself. The fact that there's retroactive airdrops as a nice little cherry on top is even better. And it's definitely going to be a topic of conversation in future AMA. So thanks for the mention there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And before we go back to Shane, I do also want to drive attention, because I saw that there were some questions around the forum around the Facebook thing. So I kind of poked and prodded Mr. Matthew and said, hey, would you be willing to help with the Facebook? I picked him out very specifically because of his relationship in Rust We Trust, and his relationship with the original Shiba Inu Facebook and things like that. So this dude has been in that Facebook.
He's been.
Sorry.
No, I got you, bud. Sorry.
It sounded like Funk had some family things going on in the background, but I can pick up there. And yeah, Funk was integral in kind of sourcing that proposal to the DAO, and we're very excited about it just because of Mr. Matthews' relationships amongst the Facebook community. And I also wanted to piggyback off of something that Adam said. The participation rate amongst our voters when we have votes going to a snapshot is incredible. We're actually on a holder to circulating supply ratio. We're outperforming Lido. We're outperforming Aave. We're outperforming some of the largest DAOs. And granted, we are a smaller community, but on a percentage basis, we're having much more participation amongst our holders and our circulating supply of tokens participating in votes, which is something to really celebrate. This is now our 20th episode of a DAO update, and every time we're doing a vote, and the last 2 successful ones were obviously to execute that huge Vitalik burn, which is really exciting for the community, and to do a treasury management solution, which is earning passive income for the DAO day over day and week over week. And the participation rate is something to really pat the community on the back for. We have people and moderators who are pushing it every day. I know Frank and many of our other moderators are here, Radar, Lego Joe, who are helping in the Telegram, really prompting people to sign up for the forum and to vote on proposals. And that decentralized decision making is what is really going to help us shine.
Yeah, appreciate that layup, Buzz. And again, man, I'm sorry. Again, my son came downstairs. But yeah, absolutely, man. There's just so many great proposals. The DAO is exceptionally active. There's 20, 30, 40 different comments on individual posts. And there's dozens each month that kind of come to the forefront, and more coming, absolutely. So an active DAO and this active community with Shib backing it is absolutely amazing. There's a lot of other things that are going on in marketing that I didn't touch about. But you know, the sweatshirts, the hoodies, the X account, the socials, adding the Facebook, hopefully, adding a TikTok. Maybe we can leak that, you know. And I know that there's a lot of other leaks that can happen here. We are expanding to all the socials. It's just important that you get the right people in place to run them, ones that know that what they're doing and have that experience and aren't just going to hit a dead end and kind of sit on their hands. And that's what we're trying to set up with our entire social media network and reach. So every social media is important, and we will expand each of them.
Generally speaking, if you guys want more information, the best place to go would be the Telegram for K9 Finance after this Spaces. If you want more, ask them to go throw it open. Go start a riot over there to get your pitchforks and torches, and go tell them to open up the VC over there. If you want more information, I'm sure Funk could probably slide over there and hook you guys up. Maybe Adam and Buzz will be there. It's an after party. You can tell them I sent you. They're going to do it. They'll be there live. But for me, it's time to close out. I got to go. My phone is dying. We've been burning up Spaces all day. Me and my guy, David 10X, have been dominating it, and I got to go. My phone's literally on fire. So for me in the K9 Finance account, remember, I'm just Pulse Digital. I'm just the lucky guy that gets to host the Spaces up here. I'm not just K9 Finance, but I do get to speak about K9 Finance, and I appreciate that. All the listeners that came out, I appreciate you filling up the comment section, whether it's in the recording or whether you're here live. It's very cool. For Turtle, Buzz, and Adam and Funk, I appreciate you guys being speakers up with me, and particularly to the Shib account for co-hosting, man. I love it. You look great up there. Looks so good on you. And we're going to be here a week from now, as we always are, at 3 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. Remember, next week is our 21st birthday. Who's bringing the drinks? Is it on Buzz? I'm going to get the mixers ready. I'm a martini with olives guy. So we'll see how wild and crazy it gets next week on the K9 Finance Weekly DAO Update Spaces number 21. Y'all get a designated driver, and I'll see you next time. Have a great week.